Hello. Welcome to A Twist of Peace Yoga. This is your Vinyasa Yoga session. Today we will be focusing on your hips and opening and getting them nice and fluid and moving. Hips are one of the highest areas of tension for us, and it's always good to work on them. So we're going to get started here in a moment. So find yourself a comfortable seat on the mat. You've got your mat, spread that nice and long, and get ready to join me for some yoga. All right. Once you've found a comfortable seat on your mat, take a moment to roll your shoulders up towards your ears, back and away. Rolling the shoulders up towards your ears and back and away helps to start to release the tension that you might be feeling in your shoulders and in your neck. So roll those shoulders up and back, and then let the shoulders sink down the back, letting go. Take a moment to close your eyes and start to notice your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the filling and emptying of your belly. Let your eyes start to relax and release. Deep breaths all the way down into the belly, starting to let the rest of your day fade into the background. Let your to-do list melt away and allow yourself to be here right where you are on your mat. Your only concern is your yoga practice. As you breathe, start to deepen the breath, filling the belly and the lungs. Notice the sensation of air as it flows in and out of your nose. Take this moment to notice your breath, to notice that life-giving force that we often let go unnoticed because it is so automatic. It is so just there for us whenever we need it. When you're ready, let your eyes gently flutter open. Let your shoulders relax a little bit if they've tensed up and started to creep back up towards the ears. When you're ready, take your arms up overhead, reaching up towards the sky. Stretch one arm up and then the other, reaching up as high as you'd like. Stretching through the side bodies. And then when you're ready, bend your elbows and bring them in line with your shoulders. Strong fingers here. Take a deep breath in, and as you do, pull those elbows back towards each other, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the hands together in front of you and bow over your lap, pulling your belly in towards the spine, dropping your head down. Inhale to lift the hands up together and open. Squeeze the elbows back. Exhale to bring the hands together and bow over. Inhale the hands up, pulling the elbows back. Exhale down. Continue this motion with your own breath. Inhaling the arms up and exhaling over. Take a few more breaths like this. Exhale down. Let your breath guide your movement. Letting your inhales and exhales tell you when to move. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let that breath all the way out. And then gently roll the spine up one vertebrae at a time as you come all the way back up. Take a deep breath in, lift the head and heart, and exhale, bring the left hand to right knee. Right hand comes behind. Gently look over towards that right side of the mat. Take a deep breath in, lift the head and heart. Exhale to sink into the twist just a little bit more. Deep breaths. You don't want to push yourself into this twist. You want to gently and naturally sink into it. So with each exhale, twisting just a little bit more as you create that space. Take a deep breath in, lift the head and heart. Exhale, come back to center, hands on the knees. Take a little bit of organic movement. You can rock from side to side or take small circles just to readjust the spine, readjust the torso. When you're ready, hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in. Lift the heart and chest. Exhale, bring the right hand to left knee. Left hand comes behind, looking over towards that left side. Again, inhale, lift the head and heart. Exhale, sink into the twist just a little bit more. Continue that with your breath. Inhaling and lifting. Exhale to sink. Take a deep breath in, lift the head and heart. Exhale, come back to center. Very good. Taking that little bit of organic movement again, readjusting, finding your center again. Good. Roll the shoulders back. And from here, if you're sitting with legs crossed, you'll notice that one leg is in front. That is typically your dominant leg. So take a moment with that leg and just going to take it by the knee and the bottom of the foot. So you want the bottom of the foot to be nice and engaged. You want those toes pulling back towards the knee. And whatever comfort level you have, I'm going to start to wake up the legs and hips. So with the foot grasped in your hand, knee cradled by your right hand or elbow, wherever feels good, go ahead and rock that leg back and forth. Call it rocking the yoga baby, as if you were getting an infant back to sleep. It really wakes up the hips, gets that movement flowing, gets the joints started with a nice, gentle start. Couple of rocks back and forth until that feels good. And again, you can bring this in as close or as far away as you want. It's completely up to you. Listen to your body, honor what your body needs. And then when you're ready, go ahead and gently lay that yoga baby down. There you go. And then lean back to switch legs. So your non-dominant leg should be in front. And from here, again, roll the shoulders back. The goal is to have a nice long back and long spine throughout this. So if you feel yourself starting to hunch or slouch over, take that moment, roll the shoulders back. Then when you're ready, engage the foot. Take the bottom of the foot here with your hand. Cradle your knee with your left hand or your elbow and start to rock from side to side. Rocking back and forth. You may find that you have a little bit more tightness in one hip than the other, and that's completely normal. Typically, your less dominant leg is going to have a little bit more stiffness, a little bit more tension, just because it doesn't get used quite as much or as often. Go. Couple more. Get that full range of motion as far as you can, as far as feels good. Very good. And then when you feel about even with the other side, go ahead and gently lay that yoga baby down. Very good. Now, take a moment to move into hands and knees. So bring the hands to the mat, knees underneath the hips. Nice neutral spine. You don't want to curl here or going through that in a moment, but for this in between, we want a nice neutral tabletop spine. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, spread your fingertips wide, bend the elbows back a little bit to avoid any overextension. Your toes can lie flat or be curled up, whichever feels most stable to you. When you're ready, go ahead and drop the belly down, lift the head and heart, pull that tailbone up towards the ceiling. In as you exhale, go ahead and push that belly up towards the spine, drop the head down. Inhale to lift the head and heart. Drop the belly. Exhale to pull that belly button up towards the spine, drop the head down. Inhale, lift the head and heart, drop the belly. Exhale, pull that belly up. It's our cat-cow sequence. Continue with your breath, inhaling to lift the head and heart, drop the belly. Exhale to pull the belly up towards the spine, drop the head. Press behind the knuckles of the index finger to make sure that you are fully engaged with the hands, that you're not leaning towards the outside. Again, let your breath be your guide. As to when to move. So instead of moving and then getting your breath to catch up with you, wait on the breath. Let your breath tell you when you are needing to move. Couple more. Really waking up the spine. After your next exhale, go ahead and come back to a neutral spine, pushing away from the earth through the shoulders and chest. From here, you may adjust your position on the mat. Bring the hands underneath the hips, or underneath the shoulders rather. Step one foot back and then the other coming into your first plank. Press through the heels. Keep a nice long line from heel to head. Take a deep breath. Then when you're ready, lift the hips up for your first downward dog of your practice. Press into the knuckles of the hands, paddle one foot and then the other, coming into this downward facing dog. Deep breaths. We're waking up the legs, so don't worry about the heels touching the floor just yet. Keep everything nice and looking up. Melt the heart back towards the thighs. Point that tailbone up towards the sky and send the heels down towards the mat, pressing into all the knuckles, elbows bent. Couple deep breaths. When you're ready on your next exhale, look up towards your hands and walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Nice and slow. Let your head hang heavy. Bend your knees as much as you like. You can take a little bit wider stance if you want to. Letting the head hang easily here. You can even take opposite elbows. Rock from side to side. Deep breaths. Let the arms come back down to the mat. Bend the knees generously and press your feet into the mat to roll your spine up one vertebrae at a time. Going slowly, letting the arms dangle. Let the head come up last. All the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders back. You can rock your head from side to side. If you find any tension in your neck. Once you've reached standing, come into your mountain pose. So bring the feet about hip distance or a little bit wider apart. Roll the shoulders back. Bend the knees slightly. Tuck the hips up and back. Bring those front ribs in and down. Strong fingers, soft shoulders. Shoulders sink down and away from the ears. Deep breaths. Press into all four corners of the feet. So if you feel your feet start to roll out to the outside edges, press into the balls of the feet behind the big toes. And then when you're ready, reach the arms up overhead, reaching up into extended mountain pose, extended Tadasana. Reaching up through the side body. As you exhale, you'll be at the top of your mat. Exhale, swan dive down. Bring your hands down to the mat. Again, feet can come a little bit wide. It's about hip distance apart. Let your head hang heavy. As you inhale, draw the fingers up the shins, lifting halfway, nose pointed down towards the mat. Back is nice and straight. Again, like our tabletop, long, neutral spine. Pull the shoulders up into their sockets to help with that neutral spine here. Exhale, drop the hands down towards the mat. Plant the hands on the mat. Step the feet back into plank. Press through the heels. Make sure those hands are underneath the shoulders. Take a breath here in plank. Exhale, drop the knees straight down where you are. Shift your weight forward. Head, chest, and belly come down towards the mat. Inhale the head and heart up for cobra. Curl the toes under and send the hips up and back for downward dog. If you're feeling a little stiff in your legs, you can, again, paddle the feet, bending one knee and then the other. And then melt the heart back towards the thighs. Deep breaths. When you're ready, on your next exhale, look up towards the hands, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of the mat. I like to take it nice and slow to do what feels best to you. Let the head hang heavy in this forward fold, and then inhale, lift the fingertips up towards the shins, half lift. Exhale the hands down to the mat. Bend the knees slightly, press into the feet to inhale, lift the arms up wide, and exhale down to heart center. Very good. Deep breaths. Go through that sequence a couple more times, moving with your breath. So that means with each movement, there's a breath attached to it. So with each up movement, we'll inhale. With each down movement, we'll exhale. You'll catch on. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Fingertips to shins, flat back. Exhale the hands down to the mat. Plant the hands on the mat and step the feet back. Take a breath in plank. Exhale, drop the knees straight down where they are. Shift the weight forward, head, chest, and belly. Come down to the mat. Inhale the head and heart up for cobra. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward dog. Melt the heart and chest back. Press into all the knuckles of the fingers. Take a couple deep breaths here. On your next exhale, look forward towards the top of the mat. Walk, step, or hop your feet up to the mat top. Meet your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale the hands down to the mat. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale the hands down to heart center. Deep breath. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale the hands down to the mat. Step the feet back into plank. Take a deep breath in plank. Exhale, drop the knees straight down where they are. Shift your weight forward over your hands. Bend the elbows to bring your head, chest, and belly down to the mat. Lift the head and heart up for cobra. Exhale. Send the hips up and back for downward dog. Adjust your stance as you need to. And take deep breaths. And then when you're ready, look towards the top of the mat. Walk, step, or hop your feet up to meet your hands. Take a deep breath in. As you lift halfway, exhale, drop the hands down. Inhale, spread the arms wide, come all the way up. Exhale the hands down to heart center. Very good. Take deep breaths here. Couple centering breaths. And when you're ready, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale to swan dive down. Bring the hands down to the mat. From here, step the right foot back onto the toes, as far back as you'd like. Find your stance. And pivot to drop the right foot down at a 45-degree angle. Bend deep into that front knee, bringing the knee up over your ankle. And when you're ready, Reach the arms up overhead, keeping the shoulders square with the hips. Reach those arms up. Let the shoulders sink down, coming into warrior one. Deep breaths here. Very good. Sink into the hips. Reach the arms back as you inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Pivot onto the toes of the right foot. Step that right foot up. Stay in the forward fold. Step the left foot back, coming into that stance. Drop the left heel down at a 45-degree angle. Bend deep into that right knee again, bringing the knee over the ankle. Adjust your stance as you need to. Find your balance, and then lift the arms up overhead, sinking into warrior one. Hips and shoulders in line with the top of the mat. Deep breaths. Reach the arms up and behind. Exhale the hands down on either side of the right foot. Pivot onto the toes of the left foot. And then step that left foot up to meet the right. Whew. From here, take a quick half lift. Exhale the hands down. Inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale down to heart center. Deep breath, centering breath. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down, hands to the mat. Step the right foot back onto the toes. Drop. Actually, this time, keep them up on the toes. Up on the toes there. And bring that front knee forward. So you can bring that foot in a little bit, that right foot in a little bit, if you'd like. Coming into a low lunge. Lift the chest off of the knee, but still coming into that nice open chest, palms pointed down towards the mat. Drop the hands down. Step the right foot forward. Take that forward fold. And then when you're ready, step the left foot back onto the toes of the left foot, bend deep into the right knee. Once you've got your balance, lift that torso up off the thigh. Palms come down, pointing down towards the mat. Shoulders back. Low. This is a high lunge, high lunge. And then when you're ready, bring the hands down on either side of the foot. Step that left foot forward. Take a deep breath in, fingertips to shins, half lift. Exhale down. Inhale the arms all the way back up. And exhale down to heart center. Now come sideways on your mat. And from here, take the feet a little wide. I want the toes pointed out about a 45-degree angle. So they're not perfectly pointed forward. They're just a little bit out. And from here, bring the arms up in line with the shoulders, elbows bent, fingers up. Strong fingers, soft shoulders. And from this, we'll take a bend in the knees to come into goddess pose. So bending those knees until the knees are just above the ankles. You can take that stance wider, bring it nice and low, come down as far as you can. So reach up with the arms, exhale down. Reaching up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Watch the knees, make sure they don't go past the toes. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down and hold. Pulse. 2, 3, 4. Up. Exhale down. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Up. One more. Exhale down. Hold. 2, 3, 4, and up. Walk the feet in a little bit. Let the arms go. Keep the feet pointed out a little ways. And this pose, garland pose, I want you to come down as far as feels good to you. So that'll differ by day. That'll differ by how your body's feeling at the moment. Inhale, the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down to heart center, elbows pointed out. Bend the knees. Again, you can take this stance as wide as you want. Bend the knees to come down. All the way down. We'll start to just pulse here. Continue to pulse and then come all the way down as far as you can. Elbows between the knees. Deep breaths. Bring the hands to the mat. Send the hips up to come out. Toes can point towards the front. Bend the knees. Lift all the way up. Take a moment. We have someone new entering. Hello. Can you hear me? All right. So, coming into garland pose again. Take the feet wide. Reach the arms up overhead. Bring the hands together, down to heart center. Bend the knees, adjust your stance as much as you like, and come straight down. Bringing the elbows inside of the knees. Deep breaths. And then to come out, bring the hands to the mat. Lift the hips as you pivot on the balls of the feet to bring the feet pointed towards the front of the room. Take a minute here in this wide-legged forward fold. Bring the hands up to the hips, bend the knees, and come all the way back up. Very good. And then when you're ready, reach the arms up, bring your hands together, and your feet together. Reach the arms up, hands together. Exhale, come all the way down. From here, walk your feet back into a downward dog. Nice and easy, just for a breath, and then come down into a seated position. Nice and easy. From here in this seated position, go ahead and bring the bottoms of the feet together. I want the outside edges open like a book, or the inside edges open like a book, rather. Outside edges are touching. Bringing the knees down as far as feels good. If you have some blocks or pillows or something that you would like to put underneath your knees to kind of support those inner thighs, that can help. So find what feels good for you. Coming into Baddha Konasana. Here, we want to roll the shoulders back, lift the head and heart, and here you can bring your hands beside the hips to help with this upward motion. You can hold onto your shins or knees, wherever feels good, just as long as you're allowing the legs to sink down towards the earth as you lift the heart and chest up. Take a deep breath here. Let your eyes gently close. Take deep breaths. With each exhale, letting your shoulders sink down. Let your legs sink down. Just let that sensation of letting go and releasing towards the earth flow over you. Deep breaths. And then when you're ready, let your eyes gently flutter open. Walk your hands in front of your legs. And then go ahead and walk them out as far as feels good, bowing over the legs. Let your head hang down heavy. Come down as far as you like. Take deep breaths, opening up those hips, opening up the inner thigh and the groin, the pelvis, all those places that feel very tight. Make sure you're tuning into your body, that you're not feeling any pain or discomfort. That everything, the sensations you feel are helpful and giving you what you want out of your practice. Take deep breaths here. Breathe into the low back. Breathe deep into your belly. When you're ready, press your palms into the mat to gently walk them in, rolling up your spine one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders up and back, letting the shoulders sink down. Use your hands to guide the legs back together. Whew. And then cross the legs, much as we did at the beginning. And here, go ahead and rock that yoga baby again. Feeling the difference, feeling what you have accomplished through your practice. So take a moment to find your dominant leg. Engage the foot. Nice energy there to protect your joints. Take your foot in your left hand or your hand opposite of your dominant leg and cradle your knee in the same hand or arm or elbow. Bring that up as high as feels good, rocking them back and forth. You notice any difference from the first time that you did this move? Are you noticing more openness, less tension, maybe a little bit more ease? Maybe you can get a little higher. Take it back and forth a few more times. And then when you feel good, go ahead and lay that yoga baby down. Lean back and switch directions, or switch legs rather. So now with your non-dominant leg, same thing again. Engage the foot to protect your joints. Take that foot in your hand. Cradle the knee in your elbow or in your other hand and rock it back and forth. There you go. Back and forth. Again, noticing any differences, noticing any sensations that come up. Very good. Then when you're ready, after you feel like you've gotten about even on both sides, go ahead and lay that yoga baby down. Roll the shoulders back, making sure to lengthen the spine up. And then come back to hands and knees. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, nice tabletop, flat back. From here, take the knees a little wide as you'd like. Bring the toes together and send the hips back towards the heels, sitting down as far as feels good. If you have a limited range of motion in the front of your legs or through the low back, you can grab a pillow or a block or anything that you'd like to help support you as you come down. For extended child's pose, stretch the arms out in front of you. Drop your forehead down to the mat, melting your head and heart down. And take deep breaths here. Breathe deep into the belly. Let the arms release and relax. Feel a stretch through the shoulders and the side body, as well as into the hips. Couple deep breaths. And then when you're ready, press your palms into the mat. Lift your head and heart up. From here, you can swing the legs around or roll into seated, rolling all the way back. Adjust your position on your mat and make your way all the way down. All the way down. Now you may find you have some tension in your low back. To help with that, go ahead and press your feet into the mat. Lift your hips up just slightly. Tuck your tailbone up towards the ceiling and roll your spine down flat on the mat. I'll help with any low back tension. Shift your shoulders underneath you. And then take a moment here and hug the knees into your chest. Nice and gentle. You don't have to come in very far. And just take a moment to rock from side to side. Give your little lower back a little back massage. Rolling back and forth. You can even make that back massage nice by taking the knees in circles, rolling them around as if you were drawing circles on the ceiling with your knees. Take them a couple times one way and then switch directions. Rolling all the way around. Really giving that lower back a lot of love. And then when you're ready, bring the knees back to center. Keep the toes together and take the knees wide, much like when we are in our child's pose. Want those knees out, toes together. Reach in between the legs to grab the outside edges of the feet or the ankles, wherever your reach feels best. And if you like, you can stay here. You get a nice stretch through the hips and the inner thigh. But if you would like to continue on to happy baby, then lift the feet up over the knees so that the knees and ankles are in one line. Let the shoulders sink down towards the earth, opening those hips. You'll find this position is very similar to when we're in goddess, as well as the garland pose, the great hip openers. This one may be a little bit less strain, or a little bit easier rather, because you are reclined. You can rock from side to side if you like, if that feels good. The main idea is to keep the back flat on the mat. We don't want to be lifting or pulling here. We want the whole spine to just be supported by the mat. So check in with your spine, check in with your shoulders. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bend the knees to bring the feet back together. Release the hands and bring the knees together. Give them a squeeze. And from here, go ahead and let the legs fall over to the right side of the mat, just as they are. So stacking the legs one on top of the other. And then to complete the twist, stretch your left arm out to the left side. Now, if you have any pinching, I found that if you bring your hands together and then open them up, that relieves any sort of pinching in the back or any discomfort there. You can bring both arms out and let your head fall over to that left side to complete the twist here. It's a nourishing spinal twist. It wrings out the tension like you're wringing out a washcloth. Take deep breaths. Breathe all the way down to the belly and start to notice places you can let go of tension, let go and release. A deep breath in, bring your head back to center. Bring your arms in and roll your knees back up into center. Hug them into the chest. Give them a squeeze. And then send them over to the left side of your mat. Again, stacking the legs on top of each other. Stretch your right arm out. If you feel any discomfort in your back, just bring those hands together, rolling onto your side, and then open back up. And to complete the twist, gently look over towards that right side without straining the neck, without trying to crane your neck as far as possible, just letting it gently fall over. Let your eyes close. So relax and release. Deep into the belly. Couple more deep breaths. And when you're ready, bring your head back to center. Pull your arms in. Roll your knees back up into center. Give them one more squeeze into the chest. And then stretch your legs out to the outside edges of your mat. Let your feet fall where they will. Make any adjustments you need to. So if you need to roll that spine down again to lower the back, shift your shoulders underneath you. Bring your arms out to either side with the palms up. Let your eyes gently close and bring your attention back to your breath, back to the rise and fall of your chest, back to the filling and emptying of your belly, back to the sensation of air as it flows in and out of your nose. As you breathe, become still. Your mind may start to wander, starting to think, plan, or worry, which is its job. Mind desperately needs to keep busy. And while you're moving your body, as in our Vinyasa practice, the mind is too focused on where to put your body, which prepares it for this meditative state. And now that you've come to stillness, your mind may start to race, start to think ahead or behind. And that's its job. So without judgment, gently guide the mind to focus on a singular point. Start with your breath. Let it focus on the rise and fall of your chest or the filling and emptying of your belly. You could let it focus on the cool sensation of air as it flows in and out of your nose. Whatever point of focus you would like, choose that point. And as you notice the mind start to wander, which it will, gently guide it back to that point of focus. The goal here is not to have the mind never wander, but to continually practice bringing the mind back and back again and again. As you allow the mind to release with this point of focus, start to let the body release. As you lie on the mat, release through the crown of the head, softening the muscles around the head, down through the back of the head, into the back of the neck and shoulders. Release down through the shoulders into the arms, softening the upper arm, the elbows, and the forearms, all the way down to the wrists. Soften the palms of the hands down into the fingertips, allowing the fingers to curl naturally inward. Soften through the shoulder blades into the upper, mid, and low back. Allow the back body to sink into the mat and be cradled by the earth. Soften down through the low back into the glutes and hips, down through the thighs, softening the behind the knees into the calves and the backs of the ankles. Soften through the bottoms of the feet all the way down to the toes. Taking a moment to feel each part of the foot and each individual toe. Allow the sensation of release to flow back over the top of the body, releasing the tops of feet and ankles, the shins, the kneecaps, and the tops of the thighs. Allow the legs to be as heavy as they are, and sink down into the earth. Soften the hips and pelvis up through the stomach, feeling the softness of your stomach, feeling the release through the belly, up into the side body, releasing the ribs and the chest. Take a deep breath to expand the chest cavity. And exhale to release. Soften up through the collarbones, releasing the fronts and tops of the shoulders, up into the sides of the neck, around the front of the neck and throat. Swallow if needed to release the throat. Let the ears release and sink back and away. Soften down through the jaw all the way to the chin. Open the mouth slightly if needed to let the tension you hold in your jaw melt away. Soften the muscles around the mouth and nose, cheeks, and under the eyes. Let your eyelids release and imagine your eyes sinking back into their sockets. Soften between the eyebrows, out through the eyebrows and into the temples. Allow that release to flow up over the forehead and into the scalp as if you were getting a tingly scalp massage all around your head. Allow that release to flow back to the crown of the head where you started, and imagine your brain sinking back into its skull. As you release the body and surrender to gravity, surrender to the earth, surrender the fight of activity, and allow release. Take these next few moments of quiet stillness, lying on the mat. Allow yourself to be present where you are in your surroundings. You may take note of the sounds you hear, of the feeling of air against your skin, the feeling of the mat beneath you. Be present with your breath, noticing the rise and fall of your chest, the way the lungs fill with air. Be present with yourself. Guide the mind back to this present moment, back to your breath as it starts to wander. Continue for the next few moments in quiet stillness. Start to bring small movements to your fingers and toes, guiding you back to wakefulness. When you're ready, roll over onto your right side and rest there for a moment, using your right arm as a pillow. Savor these last few bits of stillness. And when you feel the urge to move, use the strength of your arms to press yourself back up to seated, bringing your head up last. Find a comfortable seated position. And then we'll seal our practice today with 3 cleansing breaths. Inhale to lift the arms up and out. Bring the palms of the hands together. Exhale. Bring the hands down to heart center. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale the hands down. 1 more. Take a moment to bow to yourself in gratitude for your practice. Namaste. Thank you for your practice today. I hope you enjoyed this practice and that you feel refreshed, rejuvenated, and a little bit more open in the hips. I hope you join me next time, and I can't wait to see you then. Namaste.